in a game starting right now. It's Central Protocol. We saw this map a little bit earlier today. We're seeing it again just now. It's a best of 5 here in the semifinals, and everything is now tied up 1-1. We currently have a raffle going on for a Razer keyboard. Not a raffle, I guess a giveaway we'll call it. The StarCraft Legacy the launch stuff still being given away. We're trying to empty our pockets of all this loot, so make sure you guys get in on the action. Spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map. It's going to be the red Protoss combination, the Archon, Incontrol, and Huck.
In the top right, as the Teal Terran, it's Chanman and Bunny.
It's the first time today, no epic music. A little bit sad, actually. So,
oh, I have epic music.
Oh, I just got Terran twangy music. So I can't confirm this yet. I'm fairly confident that there's no horizontal spawns on this map, though. There's several games now where we've seen them all spawn cross or vertical, but I've still, even in playing this map many times, because this is the most commonly picked map on the ladder, it seems, we still have not actually seen horizontal spawns. So I'm starting to suspect they might be disabled, but I don't actually have confirmation on that. Also, for those wondering about the Base Trade TV intros, now that we're all live in the game, these maps are available in the editor once more, and I've already spoken with my friend about trying to get some new map intros made up ASAP, so hopefully we'll have some cool new stuff we can show off, but at the same time, I hope we don't, because if they want to go ahead and change the maps, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Not all these maps are very good.
There's hopefully a Team Liquid map contest brewing.
Yeah.
One that doesn't have odd rules that half the people know and half the people don't.
Yeah, the whole thing with the rocks was a little bit silly for the last map contest.
A little bit. We're not starting off with any cheese. I mean, that last game was really about the entire game throwing Terran off its game. Either by making think like a cheese was coming, and they predicted the wrong cheese, first of all. Or that's what it looked like anyways. Then they thought maybe an all-in was coming, and then it wasn't. And then, of course, that warp prism, constant threats, constant harassment, did not help either. Okay, that's... I guess he's pointing out all the entrances?
Yeah. And I'm also going to guess that that was Huck pinging.
Oh, okay. Anyways, the Terran really had a lot to deal with that game. If they were just left alone, even after the all-in kind of tricked them with the force fields, they might have won with the momentum they had, but that warp prism did so much damage, and the upgrades got so crazy, and I'm sure they'll be looking to not let that happen again this game. I mean, the first game they dealt with the warp prism pretty okay.
Ah, man. So, I really hope at some point we're going to see a tweak to the overcharge. One thing that's really irritating, I think, for not sake of Terran whining, but more so for game balance, is just you can't really scout Protoss anymore. Now, you can make the argument, well, Terran, you have things like, Scan and others, but it just sucks that you get this unit like a Reaper that's not designed for combat, really, despite its cool grenade ability. It's still designed primarily as a scouting unit that can't do its job. Because the Mothership Core just shuts it down by snapping its fingers. As we saw, despite how fast the Reaper is, you still can't even run out of range of the overcharge. Not even a little bit.
And there's no longer a reason not to overcharge. You know, there's no pokes where that 100 energy really meant something.
Oh no, it's 25 energy, yeah.
It's and it just looks stupid, let's be honest. Like, honestly, the Pylon thing is that it didn't break the game, but it looks dumb whenever you could use it.
I think the Carbot animation of Legacy launch trailer was probably the greatest example of how ridiculous that was. I'm still not too keen on it. I mean, I'm glad they were willing to look at it and change it off the Nexus, but I'm still not too keen on the actual Pylon overcharge. Also, by the way, are Pylons color-coded to teams now?
Yes, I was noticing that as well.
Because I thought for a moment maybe, like I was going to ask before, but I thought, nah, we probably have like some WCS map mod on or something, but there's no mods. This is about as naked as the game gets.
Ooh, scandalous.
Oh, frivolous.
Okay. Oh, it looks like a macro game right here. I do it's some of my first times looking at the maps, by the way, just total honesty. So the third base does not look that nice for Protoss, to be honest. It looks actually really terrible for Protoss to take. It's completely wide open. Versus Zerg, they're gonna get a huge concave. Versus Terran, concave still important too. Lots of area too between your third and your main, so drops will be a big pain to deal with. That is a lot of why we saw people go for High Templars over Disruptors or Phoenix over what else, because drops would be too much to deal with even if your Adepts were powerful 4 or 5 patches ago. Drops would still rule, so Probably gonna be a big problem here too.
I really do wish we had some indication of what was going on with the players. Like, again, how much is ChanmanV doing? How much is Bunny doing? What's Incontrol or Hawk doing? I mean,
honestly, I've seen a couple of times, like I've really noticed, and it's either Bunny is doing so much he's not controlling, or Chanman's specific job is to control at certain points, but army movement looks oddly bad, and I can't explain it anything else besides that. It just looks bad. Like they don't stim at the right time, so like they're constantly like, moving slowly, and I'm just like, there's no way a programmer would do this, right? So either one of those. Maybe Chanman's main job is usually army control, and Bunny's controlling the liberators. I don't know.
Maybe Bunny really did tell Chanman, "I'll do everything.
Maybe.
Don't touch anything. You're not allowed to. Go play Hearthstone or something."
What race was Chanman? Do you remember?
I do not. My experience with Chanman was never seeing him play the actual game.
Yeah,
I know he had Pro Corner as one of his shows for a while, but a lot of what I knew Chanman for was like Wednesday night sprites and unfiltered.
Yeah, me too. Oh well. Oh well.
Congratulations to PDSD16, by the way, for winning the Razer keyboard. Congratulations on that random raffle.
This is a sizable army that's going to be fully upgraded. Combat shields in like 10 seconds here. Pylons will be very useful. Adepts with decent upgrades in like 30 seconds here probably going to be enough to hold this off. Yeah, there you go. What about the main? There is nothing in the main.
Yeah, and let's not forget, you don't actually have to drop it. You can actually knock down some rocks and walk up to the main.
What? Terran army, like there's only Blink Stalkers. Kill it.
Yeah, I can kind of see what you mean now. I didn't really notice it with the army movement, but there are things like that where turning around on it is very easy to do. Especially with concussive shells.
Yeah, you don't want to stim because they probably will just blink and run away, but it's a little bit like odd here and there. It's like either Bunny is too pressured elsewhere, or Chanman just a little bit late on the trigger. But Warperism once again is going to look to buy a lot of time and do a lot of damage. If we can do both, then we're going to see a repeat of last game.
Well, drives off the SCVs.
They have new sounds, don't they? Like, I haven't really been paying attention to sounds. I usually don't have my sound very high, so I'm always paranoid. Do I just like never notice this in beta because my sound's always low?
How funny would that be if your whole complaint about the lurkers change was just because your sound was too low?
Yeah, right. Anyways, but the Adepts have a new attack. I feel like freaking out, man.
It sounds similar to me. I'm not sure that I've noticed enough to call it different.
Whatever.
But they did definitely put new sounds and animations in, so I wouldn't be surprised if it actually was. It's really cool that they took the time to do that. Army fight in the middle of the map, nothing too crazy, just Stalkers gonna keep falling back. We got 4 Stalkers in this War Prism, not Adepts, so unfortunately cannot really afford to unload into Marauders.
So now that Storms are on the way and High Templars are out, it is less of a, option to drop, but that is still what they're going to try and do. I want to say that the main still looked open, despite having a Templar archive. They didn't see any High Templars, and those are Adepts being warped in right here, so really think that they could abuse Terran mobility a lot more.
Time Warp is so dumb now.
Yeah, Time Warp is almost useless. Usually they're out of it by the time it actually does anything.
Feedbacks on the medevacs are great, actually, but it's just barely not enough follow-up to this. If Time Warps isn't used, maybe an overcharge goes off. I don't know. Stalkers kind of come in like the cavalry, blink into the main.
Worth it, though. For Terran, that is. Terran did it. Like, it took out half its army and then a quarter of the rest of its army before it all died, and even saved 1 medevac.
Getting the Templar was nice there, too. But, yeah, that army supply deficit for Incontrol and Hawk.
Someone is using F2. There's 3 observers for no reason, and they were all together. Just someone's doing it.
Actually, so that's something I noticed they did, and I'm not sure why they don't do. Observers and overseers are not part of F2 for allied commanders or the co-op.
Oh, campaigns. Thank God. Why that though?
Right, exactly. It feels like, again, like this version of the multiplayer we have is still more or less a more polished version of the beta. Whereas allied commanders and co-op feels like that's actually Legacy of the Void. You've got like dual camera movements going on there as well. You can see who's looking at what part of the map through camera, and lots of other things. But yeah, you can't do that with this. And it's funny. We talked to several Blizzard developers about customizing your F2, being able to remove certain units from it, things like that. But Maybe add queens in if you wanted. No, nothing. Our army fight going to be over here outside the natural. Decent storm goes off, but again, it's a huge supply deficit for Incontrol and Huck. It's a hard fight to take when you're fighting this far down.
Yeah. And they are really far down by 60, 70 supply here, and no storms really. I think that was the last couple storms.
Yeah. Kind of running a little bit out of juice. They do have +3 armor upgrades, so these zealots are taking hits like champions, but there's just no damage behind them. Tanking for days is no good if there's no damage.
That's a good way to put it.
Nexus is going to get focused down here at the natural as well. Good game gets called, and looks like Chanman and Bunny are going to bring it back. 2-1 now, leading in the series. But because it's a best-of-5 and not a best-of-3, it's not over yet. They have to win one more to lock this down. I don't know how the other